Welcome to the Uplifter Show, where we go live whenever the fuck we want. We were actually having a really intense conversation that sadly none of you will ever hear.
Probably best.
Well, I don't know. I think people would benefit from it. We definitely don't have to get into it.
No, we're all open and transparent people, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think we all always try to do
We
the
tend
right
to default
thing,
to that for sure.
right? And it's so I've got a couple of things here. So I was listening to your interview with Crypto Stash, actually, Corey.
Oh yeah,
on the Uplift, and that was great. You know, as I do weird shit. I'm not even gonna say it because it's just weird. You know, baths in Japan are a thing, and there's a place for my phone in the bath. So yeah, that's what I was doing. And
I think I think I should do more baths, and B, I think like I used to read books in the bath all the time. Is that weird? Right? Like when I was a kid.
No.
Anyway,
no, not weird at all.
Now you know more about me.
Yeah, right. But this explains exactly why I can't read. I used to read books in the bath. Have you ever tried turning wet pages?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it. You have to. You know, there's a method for sure. Anyway, Austin Lay's here today. He's like,
yeah. So this is what I wanted to say though. Like what I took from that video is the amount of money that we've given away to charity, the amount of money that we've raised for charity. Right. And Austin's been talking about this, you know, a lot, like right, giving back to communities and empowering people. And, you know, the last couple of times that we've had you on the channel, you know, you've been talking about like, you know, learning from your mistakes and enabling people to progress. But that also, you know, pushes us to the limits where we have to, you know, yeah, I don't know. We just have to get to a point where we're all on the same page. And that's what I like about this show in particular is at least with the three of us, we are all on the same page. It seems like that to me anyway.
We're a prisoner of our own vision. Right. And what people don't understand is that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And so when you all boil it down, you know, I've had some coaching calls this morning. I'm sitting there talking to them. I'm like, okay, great. So all the things that you're complaining about, guess who's in control of all those things? Fucking you. So you don't have to do any of those things. And so, you know, the thing is like my resolute, my even though I might have a bad day or a bad couple days or, you know, bad hour, like my resolute is that impact over everything. You know, better everybody else around you, because if they're better, then they're going to make the world better. And so if that's the case, well, then in those moments, and this is something I want to talk to you about, like my client just took a great trip and then like came back to like reality and like, is like, man, I really just want to be on that trip. And what I told her, one of the secrets I do is anytime I'm in that moment or you're having that good time or you're on that mountain or, you know, my man over here has been checking out sunsets and sunrises, which is cracking me up. I love it so much. I say to myself, take a mental note because you need this when you are really upset with where you are. And so when I'm in that moment, I always in my mind, I always go back to that moment that I've kind of taken the mental picture of, you know, like this is what it's all for, is to see more of those sunsets. And that kind of,
I like it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the great thing about a sunset is it always comes up and it, you know, it never tells you to go away. Cause like I took my moment today with my 2-year-old daughter and like, I thought, oh, wow, you're cute. And I put my hand on her chest and she took my hand off and said, mommy. I'm like, really? You too? Really? You too? Damn it, you just but it made me laugh and it made us smile, right? And so yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think that in mostly in life we feel like we don't have control of our own lives, and then so when we get something that we do have control over, you know, we feel like that's okay. And then instead of, you know, I think we see this with savings a lot. And so Japan's a really good example. There's so many people in Japan that are hoarding money. The savings rate in Japan is absolutely ridiculous, but nobody wants to spend it because nobody trusts the government, right? And so they're just hoarding this, hoping, right? And it's the same thing. Like we have all, like, you know, whenever we do something in the uplift, or I'm sure whenever you do something with like certain things, right? People are like, they get really uneasy about it. And they're just like, you know, you're messing with what I have. And it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, we've always built better than what you have, right? Like we've always been adding value to this system, right? And it's like, and we do it at the detriment of ourselves sometimes. I mean, and I'm sure like it's the same way in a lot of industries and a lot of businesses, and a lot of these people that you deal with, Austin, like they must have like very similar issues in their lives, right? Like when they come back to reality and somebody's saying to them like, look, like, you know, I've done all of these things and now, you know, Corona hits, like, right? And it's like, how do you rectify karma with being in charge of your own destiny, right?
Yeah, and you look at it as an opportunity instead of a problem, right? And what I mean by that is like, you know, whether or not you want to address it or not, everything is an opportunity wrapped in a perspective. Like, and it's all how you look at it. Like, you know, I could sit here and say like, oh, 20 years of abusing alcohol and cocaine and methamphetamines, like, and I really wasted those 20 years, or it's prepared me for everything I'm going to do for the next 60 years.
Or it made everything that you're going to do for the next 60 years.
Exactly.
If you wouldn't have done that, you wouldn't have got to where you are, right?
Exactly. And everything is a linchpin to this thing and this thing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's, you know, this guy I love to follow, he's like, so he makes a lot of money, like a really nasty amount of money. And he took off all last year. And, you know, he did the quintessential, like, my businesses are running themselves. I'm 31. Like, I'm just going to go enjoy myself. And now he's 100% getting up at 3 a.m. again, working 100 hours a week. And he goes, I thought I wanted that. And what I realized was the goal at the end of the rainbow that I really want is the work. Like, that's the fun. And he's like,
yeah, we kind of touched upon this
it.
touched upon this last time. I think when Corey wasn't here, and Austin said like, it's okay to give yourself the freedom to be a workaholic, essentially, right?
Well, and that frame is just an error, right? Mm-hmm. Like that, you know, I think if you're working a cubicle, then watching somebody put 18 hours into something is gonna probably look a little crazy, right? But if you're building a magic fairyland of Web3 NFT based, you know, creative explosion, building the future, it's just different. Like we're not doing the same things, right? Now, granted, like I'm like right next door to burnout, so that's, you know, there's you know, there's costs, right? And of course, you know, in our positions, we need to figure out how to balance and all that other fucking bullshit. Hence the sun rises. But you know,
but what's interesting, and I think that's something that I remind myself all the time, and I'm sorry to burst everybody's fucking bubble here, but the problem that's predicating your life is that you, as a W-2 employee, give too much fucks about your company. You're not the motherfucking owner.
No, but
like,
we
give them what they want. You know, the same. Give them what they're asking of you, and then on the side, fill up your cup, whichever way that looks. Whether playing the guitar, going on a walk, like you got to fill up your cup too, not just your owner's cup. And I think a lot of people are like, you know, well, he needs to change. No, he doesn't. He's the owner of the fucking business. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. That's where you have a problem, is that you think he needs to change. He doesn't have to. So you control what you can control, which is you.
Well, and I think we go into life thinking that, like, if we do a good job, then we'll get rewarded. And eventually we see other people getting rewarded more, and then we get pissed off. We
get put into an education system that trains us that over and over and over and over and over again. Like, just work hard, everything's going to be fine. Tell that to the janitor.
And honestly, it's funny because when I look at my life, like, you know, meeting Corey, you know, some of the other people that I work with, everything is going to be fine because I'm at them. And if the fucking world implodes and we all go to fucking hell in a handbasket, I'm glad that I'm going to be able to hug Corey before we, you know, Right? Like if Corey ever came to me and he's like, dude, like I'm fucked, like I can't deal with anything, like I would, get on a plane or put him on a fucking plane the very next second, right? Like this is what these people mean to me, and these are people that like I never would have met if I didn't take these risks and things like that, right? And so it's interesting to me because it's like, this calms me down, but then I feel a little bit better. But then, of course, when the show's over, I'm going to feel worse because, I burdened other people with my problems, and you should never do that in Japan. I'm 20, like I've been here for 20 years. That's half my life, right? Like I'm so Japanified that it's nuts, right? And so these social stigmas that we have, right? And that's, weird, but I like it. Again, it's part of me and part of the things. But the other thing is like I'm super annoyed today because I'm having like a bit of a stressful day, and like really stressful, meaning I can't do anything. And what I really want to do is sit down and fucking write about all the awesome shit that's happening in the uplift, and I can't focus and I can't do it. And that's what's stressing me out the most, is the fact that I can't do my job. I can't do the work that I love, right? And so like I just wanted to like point that out, because like we left the last show basically about talking about work and jobs and the ability to, and I mean, yeah, that's the Jimmy show is over. I'm just gonna go into the shadows. You guys talk like,
yeah, but I think also is like you got to let yourself off your cross, bro. Like as simple as that. Like, dude, like you're constructing your own prison, like in your day right now, when like in the moment, like I was thinking before we jumped on this call, like I always am in a better place when I get off of this call for one reason, is we have no idea where the fuck this conversation is going to go. And I find so much joy in that, right? We could be talking about unicorns and fucking rainbows, or, giving to charity, And so there's so much freedom to look at and say, we have the choice to chat about and create whatever we want. And at the end of the day, the things that are pushing up against us will go away. They always do. And it's in those moments that we find. And Corey, I'm interested to ask you, Corey, like, did the burnout and kind of what you're searching for, did that come from you personally, or was it like your wife that was like, hey man, you're a little maxed right now? Like, is it a little combination of both?
A bunch of people.
Okay. And what are they saying?
I mean, very, it's people that like genuinely care about me. I'm noticing that, I'm I mean, physically falling apart.
Okay.
Not sleeping as much. Although again, like the grinding out, getting up, doing a quick workout and doing the sunrise thing. Like it's been a week. That's starting to come together. And really just, my excitement and ability to synthesize large scale, ideas and things, it's just diminishing a little bit. I can still do it. It's just like they're when you're in flow, it's just super easy, and I'm, kind of not.
When's the last time that you took a trip that wasn't revolved around a conference or work or something that was just for you?
I don't know.
Okay, well, there's your first fucking problem. Okay.
I mean, this is the thing. Like we went up to Michelle got us a cabin up in Georgia.
And what were you thinking about the whole time that you were?
I was working.
Okay.
I went up there to work. It was great and nice, and I also got to fly my drone, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, like, yeah, there's just too much going on.
Yeah.
There will come a time when I can carve out actual time, I think, right? But I don't even know what that looks like anymore. Like, where you like deload completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's.
So I single-handedly did something 6 months ago that has changed my entire life, and it's not for everybody. I don't know people, but like I am more beholden to somebody else when I spend money than myself. Right. Like I know my tricks about myself. Like if I hand somebody money,
mm-hmm.
this motherfucker's showing up. Like that's just my rule in life. And so I get a massage once a week, and I smoke a little weed before it. And I literally meditate for like an hour and a half straight. Like, and I close so many loops, and I think about business, and I think about conversations I've had. And when I leave there, my girlfriend's like, your face is different. Like, and so like now, I deal with multiple clients, their problems are my problem, like all that thing. So it's not an option. I have to. Like, I'm not a great coach if I don't, because I need that time for myself. And I'll be honest with you, it's the only time, and this is sad to say, it's the only time in an entire week where my phone, I'm not on my phone or posting something or on a podcast or in a meeting. And I found that, like, I want to get to a place where that I do that like twice a week, and so it's one of those things that, like, it's a habit that's non-negotiable for me anymore. And so I wonder, in this 24-hour world that we're living in, where crypto never sleeps and, metaverse never sleeps, like, this is going to be the rub. I think I'm going to have a job for a really long time, because I think this is going to be more of a problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It, like, the way I feel about it is, watching 20 years ago at the beginning of the internet, and like we went through the .com bubble, right, where everybody was just like throwing money stuff. I think that was like the ICO phase last time, right, like the 16, 17. And now, we're at the point where 7 months ago Amazon was $2.93, right, and just starting to build up legitimate business with this new technology. And that, across Web3, we're seeing that, right? Legitimate businesses that are selling stuff, not white papers, that people actually want. They're actually creating value. They're creating systems. They're creating, like, scale, basically, right? So we're just getting into that. And I think, like, we're did that for effectively, 15, 20 years. I think the gold rush in Web3 is probably going to be less than 10. But at the same time, like, that's 10 years. We've been in this for a year now, right? Like, we're going to have to pace ourselves a little bit at some point. Yep. And, keep grinding. And I mean, that's like, none of the projects that, I'm involved in are like, the time horizons on them to complete the initial levels where I could even consider, taking a step back, is like the end of 2023. It just is what it is. But, like, it's gonna take that long to get things where I have committed and dedicated myself to getting them. And
that must be nice to have a date like that in mind, because, like,
it's fucking made up.
I'm fucking here forever, dude.
Well, you and I here. This is the thing. Like, there's no end date to this. We're gonna be 90, and like Austin's gonna be like, "How are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I finally went to get that massage. Fucking 40 years later."
And it's one of the things. Like, I've had clients say this to me on a regular basis. Why are you trying to slow me down? And I go, who the fuck are you talking to? I have 6 businesses, 2 podcasts, and a coaching business. And I oversee 3 hotels. I'm not telling you to slow down. You're not listening to me. I'm telling you, is this for you? That's what I'm asking.
And really,
you.
it's having seen the difference in my own. I mean, productivity is such a fucking dumb word. Like, ability to
effective productivity.
Yeah, that's better. When I'm in a state of flow and super stoked about it, and like have the energy and the, like, my soul's recharged, and A, it's way more effective, and B, it's way more fun, right? Whereas, like, just constantly grinding, bouncing off the bottom is less so, right? So, like, it makes sense to take that time, and that's why I dedicated to 30 days of sunrises. Like, unless I get rained out, I'm going to be there. Almost got rained out today. I went anyway. And there's a cumulative effect of that, right? Like, that's the thing that has had the most profound effect on my ability to kind of get that spark and then maintain it, is doing that, which is why I just committed to that a week ago, and we'll be doing it for at least 30 days. And honestly, like, I don't know that it would be smart for me to ever stop, frankly. So that's the whole thing. Yeah, Minecraft is at thanks you all. Minecraft is at 1 trillion views on YouTube. It's totally aside, but damn, that's a whole thing.
I should probably tag Minecraft more in our tweets. I don't, because I kind of want people who aren't crypto to find us first. I think the beauty of finding Minecraft as the metaverse is way more brilliant than finding the metaverse as a Minecrafter. That's a little bit weird to say, but like,
no, dude, I know, you're speaking to the choir with me. Like that's like people that play Minecraft the game think that they're in a server doing play to earn stuff playing Minecraft. That's true, and it's the tiniest thing of where we're headed.
No, it really, perfect example. I'm interviewing a guy today. He owns like 400 pieces of land. He's a fucking savage. This dude is like young. He's a killer. Like he acts like he's like 60. And he sent this message on Instagram. He goes, I just moved. He's talking about Jimmy's beard. I'm letting mine go.
I
got the winter beard going right now. It's 5 degrees outside.
Corey shaved yesterday. Yeah. His was bigger than mine.
So,
I think.
Dude, man, you know what my favorite thing? I'm gonna speak to this guy before I talk about this topic. There's nothing better. There's nothing better when you're in a barber chair and they lean you back and they shave you up and you put the hot towel on. There's something about that just puts me in a great mood. I don't know.
It's the knife at your throat.
Well, isn't that life though? I mean, like it's always there. Yeah. So, but all I was saying was he said that, listen, I just transferred $30,000 over to a new wallet. He goes, it took 5 minutes and I paid $4.
Yeah.
He said an ACH would have took, 3 days. This would have took this days. He goes, I couldn't have done any of it. And it's, and so I think we're entering a world where people have no idea what's coming.
Yep.
And if you think you know what's coming, you don't even really know what's coming. And I think that's what's so exciting about it, because I think it levels the playing field completely. And now it's 100% creative. Now it's 100% community. Now it's 100%, everything. Like, that's why I think it's so awesome.
Well, it's also 100% be responsible for your own fucking shit.
Yeah,
because like that's very problematic in this space, right? Like it really is, right? Like it becomes so easy now. Like and I saw this with another project that like I was a part of, and I was supporting someone beyond Wax, a friend of mine. And it's like, those people over Beyond Wax, they're not always as nice as people are in Wax. And Corey knows, like, sometimes we have shitheads in Wax too, right? But for the most part, we're a really good community, and people here are really nice, right? And like, they freaked out because, like, they weren't buying up the floor on this other project. And it's like all of these people, because they just wanted to flip. And it caused all of this stress. And it's like, you released too many. You fucked me over. And it's like, dude, you paid like $5 for this and you're selling it for like 30 minutes after you bought it before the sale is even over. Right. And like you're causing all this FUD and all this freaking stress. Right. And it's like, like legitimately just driving me bananas. And I told my mate, and their project, I'm like, I supported you, but like I screwed up. Right. Like I screwed up because I didn't get my name on the whitelist. I didn't call in any favors. I was hoping that the sale wouldn't be sold out. Right. But then even when I got in, it was like, I was so done with that community. And I didn't want to support any project, even my friends who are over there with that community, right? And it's like, I guess it's the same thing, right? Like you go to a city one time, it could be the most beautiful city in the world. You have a bad experience, right? You're never going to go back. But how many people don't go to that city? How many people hear of a bad experience from their friend's friend and never go to that city and never give it a chance, right? And I think that's kind of what blockchain has become. That's what the blockchain space has become. Nobody wants to trust it, but everyone wants to trust hyperinflation governments that keep throwing them on the bus year after year after year, right? Nobody wants to trust the businessmen because, there's cases of, Donald Trump who basically, claimed bankruptcy and screwed a whole bunch of people out. And so this right, exactly. This puts a bad mark on all of these real estate people, right? But if it wasn't for real estate, who would buy and sell land, right? Like, and so you have this predicament where a lot of people now with the internet, they're reading more about the FUD and more about the news than actually being educated in the way to deal with it itself. Like, I don't fucking know how to do taxes, man. If I didn't live in Japan and my taxes weren't done by my missus who understands Japanese, like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I move back to Canada or the States, right? Like, I'm going to have to hire someone to do that, right? It's like, Nobody taught me how to.
Well,
do
don't
that
worry.
shit.
I'm starting a bookkeeping company, so you're good, bro. I got you. But
whoever comes up with a software-oriented wax account scraping accounting firm will make a lot of money,
dude.
off of me.
I have a new rule. I have a new rule. Here's my new rule in business.
Really well.
If I hate doing it, that's the business we need to do.
That's insane.
No,
I mean, like it'll make money. You need to find out somebody who. But I agree with you, right?
I already have the people, right? And so here's the problem in short-term rentals. The way that they do accounting is the most asinine. Like it's like I'm telling you right now, if you do not take care of it, it will ruin your business because you can't find your money. And so like the way they reported it's really weird. So I said, well, fuck it. If I got a problem and every friend I have has a problem with it, I'm just going to create the business and be the consultant and hire smart people to figure it out. And then I'm going to become the answer. And then they're going to ask me to manage their properties. Like it's, I think in my 20s, I wanted all the exciting shit. Now I want all the really boring stuff that's going to be there every month.
It's like printing money, right? Like you're, 100%. I totally agree. Especially if you have access to or feel confident that you can find the smart people that will do that. Like,
I already got them, man.
Game on, do it up.
That's my specialty. And so it's one of those things where we've entered a world where it's literally like just blow it in the air and you can create it. And that's where I think the people that are refusing to create are going to be left stand still. Because we're entering a world where my favorite thing to see is like every time there's a dip in Bitcoin, like Venezuela goes heavy again. Like they're just like, look, guys, we were already poor as fuck. This is our moonshot. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, fuck it, right? And so I love that attitude because it's like we're either gonna look like geniuses or I'm going to get fired and we're going to be in debt like every other country. Like
it's the thing, especially with those things. So like all you have to do, like, look at the long term for crypto. Like long term is like 9-10 years, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Like it's not rocket science. Like, are you going to have a moment where your little Bitcoin stash drops by 50%? Yeah, maybe 80, and then it'll 10x. Like it's barring some unforeseen, completely, totally never before seen thing. Like China tried to ban it. But they've tried to ban it 1 billion times. Guess what happens? Nothing. People adapt. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
We're like all black sheep in a family, and I remember like our good friend Emily. I would love you to meet him sometime, Austin. Actually,
that'd be great.
Just because you share the same name as the city he lives in, but essentially,
and that's the only reason.
No, that's totally not the only reason. But he's fun, right? And like I've known him for a long time, and my favorite question that I've ever asked him is like, dude, like it's like you must be like the black sheep of your family, right? Like you bought into Bitcoin so early, you've been in this space for a long time, like you've seen the merits of it, and he's he's a pretty well well adept like financial guy, and he's like, dude, I used to be the black sheep of my family, but now my family's starting to listen.
Dude, the greatest meme I ever seen was the day before Thanksgiving, and it said, I really hope Bitcoin shoots up so I can look really good at Thanksgiving.
Right, I saw that one too. Yeah,
and it's like, but like the question is like everybody wants to say I told you so, and they want to, like, my joke with everybody is like, somebody's gonna come to me in 20 years and they're gonna be like, how'd you do it? And I'm gonna be like, I've been saying the same thing every day for fucking 15 years. You just didn't want to listen. And the thing is like now, I mentioned it before we got started. Now I see that story that my buddy sent me, and I'm like, so wait, hold on. We're going to back up government mortgages, or we're going to back up mortgages from a mortgage company with crypto. Okay. So here's the thing I know about capitalism. They're going to get theirs. So as soon as they can wrap their mind around it and figure it out, you're going to start seeing this become more of a thing. And when you're starting to see crypto ATMs in like some small town in Texas in a gas station, you're like, okay, this is getting spicy. And it's like one of those things where, like, I think somebody that I highly respect, like really successful business person, was like, it's not basically if, it's basically when at this point.
Yep.
And that's when the tide's changing. Yeah.
there's no doubt about it, right? I mean, that like we've seen all the things. There's no, I don't think there's really any way to think about it other than that now, right? Like that's just the way it is.
My only hope is that it comes, at least, a portion of it comes as crypto was intended, not like some perversion of something that wasn't, right? Because yeah, I mean, it's
what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Well, so I have a theory, and I'm not 100% sure that it's true, but I'm just going to keep going with this theory until somebody proves me wrong. But Japan is a country that professes that they have 0 nuclear warheads, right? They have 0 nuclear weapons, right? They have nuclear technology that they use for energy, but they don't use nuclear weapons. They don't have nuclear weapons. I think that's all in the freaking fine print. I guarantee you that there's some bunker under Tokyo somewhere that there's a bunch of nuclear warheads that are set 5 inches apart from a rocket that need to be screwed in that take 2.5 seconds to do it. I refuse to believe that Japan is
I don't know,
dumb,
man.
Right?
I believe it. That might just be my the cultural shock of that. I don't know that. Now, granted, you've been there for 20 years. You know more than me,
right? Like, if America said that, would you believe it?
Well,
no, America's not Japan, though, right?
We were just talking about it more. I just bought some more Bitcoin right now because I invested in that.
And so yeah, like the crypto example is like, I actually believe that most of the problems with Ethereum could be solved today. I believe that Ethereum 2.0 could be rolled out tomorrow and it could be fixed today. But the people who are capitalizing upon those gains, upon the prey of the other people who are coming in, who are stealing the money from the DeFi, I believe that they're not going to let it go until they have no other choice but to boost it up, right? And I could be completely wrong.
No, there's
so much money there. Like that,
you're spot on, because what they're doing is they're buying themselves time to get in position to catch the windfall. We know what the fuck is happening. All the problems, most of the problems can be fixed like that. They don't want to. They have.
I mean, the amount of developers that they have over there that are working on this stuff, and it's just like, I mean, we got.
I guess define fixed, right? Like
no. Pardon me, not fixed. Supported.
Sure.
Until they jump on the bandwagon, they want to make sure that they've got their ducks in a row so they can catch the upside.
Well, I don't think it's that, though. I think what it is the early investors are just playing the same games that the bankers were playing before there was crypto. I believe that has something to do with it. Right now, am I saying everyone is wrong? No. Am I saying a portion of the people are wrong? Yes. Am I saying that a portion of the people being wrong is causing more of this issue? That's what I think. Am I right? I have no fucking idea. But when I look at a team like us, like what we do at the Uplift, or what, Blue does and Corey does with the Yoshi drops, what Yoshi does, and I see how much development we do to bootstrap like the things that we're doing. Yeah. And then I see like everyone, in the Wax ecosystem doing the exact same thing. And all of the problems that we've solved, the most transactions of any blockchain to date, like right now, happening in this moment, play to earn games coming out the wazoo, super easy, free onboarding for everyone, right? And nobody paying attention to this space, and everyone over in Ethereum with the most developers ever that are all working on this contract, and none of these. We're gonna do it. Well, a little
what
bit
it
later,
is it makes me think it's like going to a restaurant that's full. A lot of people just want to go there, even though the best food might be the place down the street with one person in it, but they're not going to eat there, even though they know that's the best food, because they want to be in the crowd.
Here's a fun little antidote that's like true from Japan. There was a time where restaurants would pay people to line up in front of their shop, come in, and then go out the back door. And this was a big thing in Japan 100%. Because everyone would line up in the restaurant with the longest line. And like you could make a living essentially going to work every day and lining up in a line all day long.
Do you know the franchise Hop Daddy? Do you know the franchise?
One more time?
You know the franchise, the burger place Hop Daddy? You ever heard of this company?
I've never heard of it.
So it's a burger place in America, right? And we used to work right next to it when I was in Austin. And every day, and when I mean this, every day, there was a line out the fucking building. And at some point, I was like, the burger's not even that good. I don't even understand what the fuck's going on. And so I went in there and talked to one of the managers after I had a couple beers in them. And I said, dude, you got to tell me what the fuck is going on. And he goes, we on purpose take longer, so we create a line which creates buzz.
It's hilarious
for a reason.
This is fast food. I mean, that's funny. Hey, Corey, you know what we should do? We should pay people in gratitudes to line up at the door of the uplift and then put them up on monuments.
Something, hey?
Let's do gratitudes.
I would like to do gratitudes, but I just got to, I suppose I could just pop out and pop back in. I just got over to Sue Gentry's shop at Medfield Shops.
Oh yeah, we could do that too.
Yeah. Oh, what just happened here? Hold the farm.
So I like this. I like the fact that
So
the first
Corey,
time that Austin was on. Sorry, I was.
Corey, I have something for you. I think that both of you, it's something I can't get out of my head, is that I respect the all-in basket thing, like one basket. But I think part of the reason the burnout is maybe to diversify in something that isn't meta universe or crypto.
I mean, I'm probably gonna do a New Year's gig. Does that count?
That's good enough for me.
All right, cool. Mob drop weapons and armor. You just get stuff.
Actually, I always wanted to ask you this, Corey, and maybe this is a good time to ask you this. So, like, I mean, you used to play music for a living, and you used to play music for a living, and like at that point in time, right? Like, was it like more of a job than it was music? And now that you're not playing music for a living, now that you're doing this, like, that has music now taken on that kind of passion of being able to sit down with a guitar for an hour and just relax?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
Okay. That was a really pointed question, but as a guy who doesn't play music,
Yeah, I don't know. Crap, now I need to get rid of all this stuff. I don't have I wish I had a better answer than that. I mean, I haven't played a gig in a really long time, right? So, like, I don't know.
No, I meant just like sitting on your sofa playing at home.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's probably accurate. As far as just it having the. I mean, I definitely play more now for fun than I ever did when I was doing it, for work. But I mean, when I peaked out, I was playing like 9 shows a week, right? Like, it's like, that's good. Like, I got my 50 million hours, like that. It was more than sufficient. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what it ends up being like, frankly, because I don't know. Also, I just bought all of Sue's sea lanterns. What's up?
Nice. I used to work, making things like furniture and things. And it's funny because, like, we'll go to the shop and my missus, she's always like, you're always taking pictures of weird things. Like, you're taking pictures of weird clothing, or why are you taking pictures of that? And it took her the longest time to figure out that I was taking like pictures of weird furniture ideas. Like, it's like, what? Really? Because I like furniture, right? And I like, for example, I would take a picture of like a snowboard bench, right? Like, think about the amount of things that you could turn a snowboard into, right? Like, and just like kind of weird random stuff like that. And it's like, that's what I actually love about this game, Minecraft, and the ability, like, the physics of real life kind of, don't matter. But I want to go back to the game because I wanted to say this and I don't want to forget this. And you were kind of talking about self policing, I guess, earlier, and something just really, really fun and really cool happened in the uplift the last couple of days, and I got wind of it, and I just want to shout it out. There was a group of people, and they created a support ticket because, like, I guess way back in the day, somebody stole a horse or something like that, and we try, but oh, hey, Mello, nice, yeah. and we try and do things, but at the same time, like, we don't want to police all of this stuff. And so what this dude did was this is awesome. I love it. This is so, Japan. Sorry?
There's some weird
I think that's Austin, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's typing. And so what this dude this dude did was he created a sheriff's department. And he built the sheriff's department. And when he was creating the sheriff's department, the reason he was creating the sheriff's department was because like somebody had stolen his horse, and he thought, oh, this is fun. Let's build a sheriff's department in the game and see what happens. And while he was creating the sheriff's department, some dude came and tried to steal his horse. And he took a screenshot of it and like he posted it to me, and he's like, can I do this? And I'm like, dude, I love it. If you want to create a sheriff's department and like, you know, make the community like, you know, rally around this and like take on the responsibility of like self-managing themselves. Now I think that's a brilliant idea, but it's really interesting if we think about all the things that like the people in the world have come up with, like in the metaverse, but also the people in the real world, right?
Well,
like
that's the thing, like the metaverse really is a microcosm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that fascinates me the most about it, is that, you know, we're sort of watching what happens when we're sort of allowed a do-over. That's why like some of the stuff that we're working on behind the scenes, I am intimidated by, frankly, because you know, we kind of have like one shot to really get this right, and you know, the chances that we won't are pretty high. Oh yeah, dude. Sea lanterns, what's up? I'm gonna spend too much money,
dude. So it's so funny. It's so funny that you say that. So we just put the motion, everything in process. Now engaging lawyers to start our short-term rental fund, and you know, we're not one day into planning it where another fund approaches us and is like, we got like 75 million sitting around. We got 5 million in a checking account that we're not using, and we want to get into the short-term rental game. Would y'all be okay if we lent you the 5 million? And we're like,
would that be all right if we did that?
And we were like, I was like on the phone with like my agent friend like 5 seconds later, and I was like, hey, this is the budget, go after it, you know, in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And if I stopped for 2 seconds, it would really scare me, but I don't give a fuck anymore. So
I mean, that's the way. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to keep going, right? Which is ultimately what I ended up doing.
You know? Yeah, you have to. I mean, at the end of the day, you to be honest with you, you really have no idea per se what you're building, because what you're building is a living organism, and the organism continues to grow beyond you. And the problem is that the people that are building it are trying to control it with their ego, when you can't catch a speeding train after it's fucking
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. You know, and I think that's super important. It's like, if my coaching was all tied up into my ego, and I coached somebody that had nothing and they become worth $100 million and they were better than me, would I beat myself up for it? Or would I say like, no, I gave them the tools necessary and they ran with it? Right.
But I think the common narrative in the world is to, you know, beat yourself up about it and not, you know, look at it that way. Like, we're not educators by default. We're delimitators, right? Like, this is what our society teaches us, right? Like, it's one of my favorite, you know, books of all time, and I'm sure you've read it, is Howard Gardner's the 12 forms of intelligence, right? It talks about music, it talks about mathematics, it talks about all of these different things. And it's really quite interesting when you dig down into it. And it goes together with that meme really nicely, where there's a teacher that's standing with a bunch of animals. And it's like, okay, students, today we're going to have a test. And there's a monkey, and there's a goldfish, and there's a crocodile, and there's a wild boar, and there's a rabbit. And the test is climb to the top of the tree. And it's like basically today's education system, right? And we do that. And now we're in this crazy world where we have crypto, where we have play to earn games, where like people in the first world might be complaining because we're only giving out 6 figures of wax a month, right? But like people in the third world are making fucking money to be able to do this, right? That's paying their internet, that's paying their family's food, that's like, right? And it really puts things into perspective, I think.
Yeah, as it should. All right, Jimmy, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for Corey and Austin. And the fact that, like, you know, he came on this show, I don't know, a couple months ago. maybe 3 months ago, and he's been here every month without fail.
Yeah.
And it's like great because every time I send him a new, it's awesome because every time I set up a new show and I send it, because I'm perpetually late with this, I sent it to him last week. I go back into the calendar and he's already booked the next one. He waits until I send him the invite for this one to book the next one. But the second after I send him the invite for this one, he's like, I'm gonna book the next one. And that's just a fucking stand-up dude and a friend of mine that I want to.
Yeah. Well, every joy in life is predicated on one purpose: compound. Every relationship, every wealth building, every consistency with health, spiritual practice, the compounding effect over time. People have it all twisted. Like the journey of health and lifestyle and relationships and business is forever. Like if I don't have that, then what do I have? Like if you think that you're going to go sit on some beach somewhere and you're going to be happy, like, no, I'm sorry. It's just, I've got to a point where, like, as I said earlier, like the work, showing up for other people, right? The showing up for myself is the work. That's the win at the end of the day. Whatever happens in between, like if I just had, like if people lived my life and they went through my day, okay, let's talk about my first call today was a coaching client. Then I did a podcast on an event we're throwing. Now I'm talking crypto and NFTs with you. Next is a call with my marketing guy in Spain. Right after that, I've got a call with another coach about our coaching business. Then I have a call with a company about streamlining my onboarding. Then I have a podcast, a bookkeeping call, a mastermind call. There's 17 different things we're talking about today, but I love to talk about every single one of them. That right there is the currency.
Well, I mean, dude, it almost sounds like you're complaining and you only work 4 days a week. So what the fuck?
I know. Also, I'm not.
What are you grateful for? And don't give me that list again.
No. That wasn't complaining.
I know. I'm saying like the society's trust, right?
Of course, but I was just saying it can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be just one thing. And I think that's what's exciting about where we're entering in.
100%.
And everybody thinks that everything they need to do needs to produce some sort of income. But if it produces happiness and energy to you, that's all that really matters. So, what I'm grateful for is the opportunity. Simple as that.
I like it. Thank you, sir. Boom.
I agree, though. I mean, the sunrises are fun. I try to catch them live, but sometimes when I miss them, do you have a other than the massage, because you said you do that
so it's
on a weekly basis. Do you have like a daily ritual that like brings you back to your space?
Of course. Yeah, I walk every morning. Yeah, 45 minutes, no matter what. It's 10 degrees outside and 2 feet of snow. I don't give a shit. Yeah, like it's my thing. I love it. It centers me. It allows me to attack the day. I'm not going to lie to you. That first call this morning was a little rough, but I got through it. Now I'm like super pumped up, And so it's like, I was thinking to myself, like every morning, it's like, it's in those days that you don't want to, that truly, is the resolve that you're looking for. Because, we always say that 90% of the game is just showing up, and so you don't even know what's going to happen. You don't even know what's going to transpire. So.
Well, I mean, I think I'm kind of with you there, and I'm actually on the opposite side because I'm bad at this. But like when you do it and you do make yourself do it, you always feel better, right? Like anyone who's into fitness will.
You've never gone, man, it really sucked that I sweat that time. Like, it's like, no, dude, like it felt good. Yeah. And like, and here's something about the sunsets, because I'm actually going to create a book about this. Picture book I've been keeping for years about sunsets and sunrises. It's not actually the sunset that's the perfect. It's 30 minutes before the sunset. So it's when the sun hits the clouds and it's that purple pink. That's the actual, when the sun actually comes up, I'm over it by then. But it's in that moment when it's coming up, that's actually the joy. And in Florida, man, it is magical as fuck when it's dancing off the water and there's a lot of clouds in the sky. Man, it's, I spent a lot of time in St. Augustine after my divorce, just on the beach by myself, and man, those were some magical mornings.
It's actually always the second tower of sea lanterns, Corey.
I just wanted to demark my. I'm like super rich in sea lanterns.
So before there was internet in everyone's pocket, I was a philosopher. I was nostalgic about ancient Greece, and I used to have weird conversations like high up in trees because nobody ever looks up, and that's a great place to be if you're going to smoke a joint. So we used to have these conversations, and one of the things was like, it was this weird conversation. We used to talk about it all the time. All right, yesterday or today, what if you could only take one photo? Again, before digital photography, right? You can only take one photo a day, and you're not going to know really what it looks like until after you get to the 24-hour mark, and you go in and you develop it, right? Think about how many amazing things you're going to come across that day, and how much stress those amazing things are going to cause you, because you're always going to be thinking, okay, well, this is the most perfect sunrise I've ever fucking seen. But if it's the most perfect sunrise, like, what happens at lunchtime? Like, is this a good day where, like, it's that whole like gambler's fallacy type of thing, right? Like, this is good? Like, what's this thing going to be? And I think this is really like the world that I grew up in. Now, when you mix that with the world that like we live in today, where nobody even puts their freaking device down for long enough to be able to like, touch base with themselves or their families or whatnot, right? And it's funny because I need something like that. I was biking for a while, but like I don't have my bike because I'm at a different house right now for the time being. But I should probably do yoga or something, but I can't focus. But like I'm gonna do it now because of you and Corey, right? You have your morning walks. Corey has his sunrises, and I just need to put my phone down, and I'm gonna figure out a way to do that. I'm gonna figure out a way to like detach. Like, my way of detaching is to hang out with fucking cool people like you. And yeah.
No, I agree with that. Like, your way, before we get out of here, your way of detaching doesn't have to look like anybody else's. So just figure out what works for you.
Seconded.
Guys, I can't thank you enough. I got to pop, but it's always great to talk to you.
Yeah, well, we'll be back tomorrow, actually. But yeah, and I think it's next month. You're booked in already, so
yeah,
we'll be back next month with you. And Corey and I will be back tomorrow on the Crypto Writer channel. We're going to do a Miami Crypto Vice with a few friends of ours. We're going to talk about blockchain art, crypto, Miami conferences, things like that with Sean Bellant of Crypto Writer. I think the digital assets hopefully going to join us. I think who else? Nathan, our good friend Nathan.
Cool.
Is going to join us as well, and it should be really fun. And we're just going to wrap things up. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Austin, for being awesome. Thank you for Corey for being hands down one of the most important and best people I've ever met in my life.
Good kind.
Yeah, you guys chop us out.
No. All right, guys. Thanks, man. See y'all soon.
Right. Cheers, guys. Oh shit, the choppy chop. Okay, one more time, choppy chop.